a very fun weekend of playoff football. That's essentially already underway. And what a way to start it last night. That
Man,
awesome.
that was a good game.
Such a good game, man.
That was a good. I credit Ole Miss for this. Like, everything they're involved in is just so dang fun because their offense is legitimate, but their defense is a little shaky, and that makes for fireworks. Like, you'd be hard pressed to find a more fun team in the last couple of playoffs than Ole Miss because it's electric on both sides when they're involved.
We will talk about that game last night. Also a bit about the double not butt punch. Did I really say that? Gut punch.
Okay.
That Ole Miss has received, not only losing last night's playoff game, but also probably losing their quarterback for next year.
Oh, no, what happened?
Because, well, the 60-year waiver got denied, Brendan.
Oh,
NCAA.
no. Their quarterback's going to have to go get a job instead of play for a 6th year in college. Oh, man.
I know, right? I mean, it's
whatever.
It's an interesting situation for Ole Miss, though, for Trinidad Chambliss, and now we'll see what his future holds. But we'll talk about all of that. We'll talk about Mizzou's transfer portal so far. Mizzou men's basketball at Ole Miss. Oddly enough, who you got? 505. We'll discuss on that one as the Tigers look for a 3-0 start in SEC play. That'd be pretty darn good.
Be pretty good. I, for one, will be keeping my expectations low, though, for this game.
Oh, sure you will. By the way, Mizzou's a 1.5 point favorite. They are.
Are they now?
Yeah, 1.5 on the road.
Man, as a favorite, I do expect to win those games. I don't know if everybody else would agree.
Very close spread. Coin flip territory. It is coin flip territory still, but we'll discuss that. We'll have Rob Veno of wagertalk.com on at 425. Discuss the playoff games all throughout this weekend and our picks of the week at 545. Call or text us at 875-KTGR or tweet us at KTGR Big Show. You can also see us live on YouTube right now, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports and facebook.com/KTGR Big Show.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
The Mizzou men's hoops is going to try to make it 3 straight wins to start out conference play. That'd be pretty impressive as they take on Ole Miss on the road. Ole Miss scuffling at the moment, so they're in desperate need of a victory as well as the Tigers look to get to 13 wins as well on the season, and it's a 5 o'clock tip-off tomorrow evening. Pregame begins at 4:30 right here on KTGR. Mizzou women's basketball had a bid in the first half to upset number 7 Vandy, who's still undefeated, but they're still undefeated after last night as the Commodores really turned it on in the second half and ended up winning by 31, 99-68, the final score. Mizzou did get Shannon Dowell back from injury, so that's good news. But the Tigers still looking for their first conference win. Next chance is Monday night against Alabama. And that is the Big Show's Big Deal on this 9th day of January 2026. Give us a call or text at 573-875-KTGR. Man, that game last night, Miami and Ole Miss, feels like Miami, the way they played at least, and the way that both sides of the line of scrimmage were getting the wins that they needed. Seems like it probably shouldn't have even come down to that, but I'm glad it did because it made for a fun game. It showed that both these teams still have many flaws that they have to overcome, but they still are able to fight towards the end and put together a finish like that. I mean, even Ole Miss at the very end with 18 seconds, Trinidad Chambliss using the 18 seconds and one timeout to get as good of a Hail Mary situation you could possibly ask for.
I thought they were going to win the game on that drive.
Yeah.
Like, I something in me was like, we're about to see an all-time classic. I know people were kind of talking about, was there pass interference in the end zone?
There was, by the letter of the law, yes, but yes, you never see that called.
You never see that called. And I'm not even really advocating one way or another. We've talked about this before. Andy has been steadfast in saying no matter the when or the where or the why, you should call it the same and let the chips fall where they may. I am more of an advocate to say you let some things go in a spot like that because the alternative is the refs becoming the story. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer to what would have happened there. I was not surprised, though, I'll say, to see the flags, the yellow hankies, remain in the pockets of the referees at that point. It's funny. I was at my bowling night watching it with some of the guys after we had finished up bowling, and somebody even said on this play, like, wouldn't it be crazy pass interference? And another guy remarked, well, that they never call pass interference. This is before the play happened.
Well,
like
Miami
you're
fans
will
will disagree because they feel like they've had a national championship taken away because they did call pass interference in a certain national championship game way back
I think
when.
if you tear a guy to the ground, then it's like, hey, we all saw that. We all have to acknowledge. If it's hand fighting and you can kind of sell it off, I'm okay with no call. But
was it hand fighting or was it jersey tugs? It was jersey tugs.
I'm okay with jersey tugs as well. I think is my stance. I just would say if you're tackling a guy as the defensive player trying to pull down the offensive player and you just bring him to the ground, I don't think a ref would be able to ignore that. Get a little jersey, get a little hand, get a little contact, get a little shoulder pad. You leave it up to the ref's discretion at that point, and more times than not, it feels like they just call it hand fighting. They just call it, a no call in most cases especially when it's a Hail Mary as well. Like if they're at the 10-yard line going in and that would be the final play of the game, I think it gets called. But because it's like, hey, we all know the drill. We're running down to the end zone and we're heaving it up from 40 yards and hoping for the best. In that context, I do feel like it has to almost exceed what a standard DPI would be in order to draw the call. Right or wrong, it feels like that's kind of the way it's often legislated.
And so with that, Miami holds on. Honestly, the fact that in most cases, they had done enough to essentially kill all hope for any other type of team instead of Ole Miss. But that's just a testament to how Ole Miss has been playing their games here recently, despite all of the circumstances around it. Miami's drive that they put together, starting with about 3 minutes and change to go, was about as excellently done as you could have ever asked for. Also
really good. That was just good offensive football.
Yeah, like a good football, good clock management, everything.
You did benefit from a call though on 3rd and 8.
Oh, sure.
And you get the flag thrown. That could be a completely different outcome to the game without that call, because then you're in 4th and 8. They would have had to go for it. They had 2 timeouts, but I think in that spot you would go for it. And then if you stop them 3 times, you have a little bit of time left, down 6. That would have been Miami's circumstance. So that call doesn't get lost in it for me anyway, but everything else that they did was well earned for sure.
And Carson Beck having that moment at the end was pretty darn awesome, running straight toward his fans in complete open field, gets the high step essentially in the end. Like it's like it creates the image that if Miami finishes this thing off, you're like, okay, poster that everywhere, and Carson Beck becomes the legend. And good for him with the type of journey that he's had. Could have gone pro, decided to stick around in college at least, but had to find another place to go.
He got a bag of money from Miami. Like, it's not like a feel-good story that he sticks around in college football, but he's not, he earned it last night. So I was expecting the opposite. I was expecting like an all-time Carson Beck blunder, like a pick 6 or something that would have sealed the game. Just the way that game was going, there was some oddities for Miami early where it felt like they got away with a couple of things. But no, by the end of it all, you can't question the way that he played. He was tremendous.
And so that game, Miami's in, and they get either Indiana or Oregon. You see the Oregon running back situation today, Brendan?
No, what's up?
So their leading guy, Whittington, I believe, leading rusher on the year, questionable. The next 4 guys on the depth chart are out. Not going to play. So they've got a freshman that they could turn to, and I think another junior that's had like maybe 20-ish carries this year. But Katie George reporting on ESPN that they're actually moving a couple defensive players into the running back room for today, just in case. It's wild.
Is this real that there's a guy? Okay, that there was a guy who entered into the portal earlier this week, but they said, hey, he's going to be available as well, just because of all the injuries.
Right.
That's wild.
Yeah. So there.
I wasn't aware of that. Like Jordan Davison has been a really good running back for them, and Whittington is kind of the other in a 1-2 punch. There's going to be a lot of Whittington if he can suit up. I can't imagine if he's questionable that he doesn't play, given the state of everybody else.
Well, they're going to need him for sure. And if they don't, then, I mean, Dante Moore can run a lot, but you're putting a lot on the quarterback to go up against that Indiana defense.
I feel like I was looking at this earlier today. Oregon is second in the country because, like, my standing assumption about this game was that both teams are going to stop the run because they both are playing defense at such an unbelievable level, and that's where it all begins if you're playing on that level defensively. In the last round, they combined to allow 3 points.
Yeah.
Right? Alabama and Texas Tech scored a total of 3 against these two teams. So, like, the defenses, I'm thinking under tonight on whatever the total points is. I feel like it's gonna be a lower scoring game. I feel like the running games on both sides you'll kind of feel it out, and you'll get 2 or 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but it's going to come down to whoever can move the ball through the air better. Oregon is second in the nation, allowing just 14.3 completions per game. And it's kind of like in that Texas Tech game, you felt like, well, Texas Tech is down. They'll be throwing to try to make their way back into the game. They just didn't allow any completions. They weren't allowing yards. They were either throwing an interception or fumbling or just incomplete and having to punt. That's how good the Oregon pass defense was. I'm not saying that there's not a Heisman winner on the other side with Indiana, but that's what kind of has me concerned today is, yeah, the Oregon running game might not, but I don't think they were going to produce a lot anyway. I think it's going to come down to the aerial attack, whereas Indiana has given up some more yardage through the air. Dante Moore, I know he didn't win the Heisman. He might be the X factor of this game because I think Indiana's pass defense might be just a little bit more susceptible right now than Oregon's. But I do think it'll come down to the quarterback that plays the best will win the game because I don't know if either run offense is going to be able to break through against the opposing defense that they'll face.
I do wonder, and you brought it up yesterday, of how the coaching matchup plays into this at some point, probably in the second half when it comes to managing time or fourth down decisions or whatever might be the case.
Doozy of a decision that one of these two coaches is going to have to make on whether or not to be aggressive in a spot, and it will decide the game. There's no question about it. The outcome of that decision in play, I think, will determine the game tonight.
And so, like, I can't wait for just those two going up against each other. 3-point spread, it's, I think, about right, and Oregon will make this a much closer game than it was in Eugene earlier this year. This is now, I would say that I'll root for whoever wins this game to win it all, but again, like I really don't care either way because I love both coaches. The Fernando Mendoza angle to it is awesome as well. Both these teams haven't won it all ever, and I think and again, the Big Ten can basically have a big commercial tonight too. So, I mean, it's going to be a fun one. I hope it's kind of similar to last night to where, it ended up being a larger point total, but because of the fact that in the fourth quarter, both offenses really started to push the issue and found ways to drive down the field about as quickly as humanly possible. And like we might see that again. Like we might see a 13-10 first 3 quarters, and then maybe it ends up something like 24-20 or something like that, I think.
Yeah, it's a possibility where it just ramps up in the end as, again, like neither side will be able to abandon the run. You have to stick with it and see if it can work because ball control is important. Limiting possessions of the offense on the other side is important. But at the same time, I do think it could end up devolving where it's like, who can throw on the opposing defense to really, because somebody's going to have to do it when it's a close game and you're down a possession late. I don't think I've ever seen a game line up as more of a field goal spread than this one. I don't know who's going to win it. I think they're going to win it by 3. And I think the spread is still plus 3.5 for Oregon. So that's spread wise the side I like, but I am rooting for Indiana because my parlay did survive the Thursday night fiasco and
Hail Mary and the last drive.
I'm still alive on the parlay, so that the next step is Indiana, and then I'll hope hope to clean it up with the Rams money line on Saturday. But it'll be a compelling game. Yeah, I mean this semifinal round has a chance to be an all-time couple of days of college football. And you mentioned it, like playoff football underway. It doesn't get better than the way that they line this up for Thursday, Friday to be the college playoffs this week, and then we get Saturday, Sunday, Monday for the NFL playoffs. That is a 5-day jam-packed, and you can kind of, it's not really that chaotic because it's just one game at a time.
Yeah.
You're just focusing as a fan on one game at a time. So it's a lot of fun, and we're just in the early stages of it still.
So call or text us with what you think is going to happen tonight. 573-875-KTGR here on The Big Show. If you want to weigh in, this texter 573 saying the issue with no flag was that this was more like an actual play than just a normal Hail Mary. Where's normal Hail Mary territory? Like they started at the 30, they were at the 35 last night. That's where the line of scrimmage was at least. But from where Chambliss was, I'm sure it was about a 40-yard pass in the air. And even towards like back of the end zone, you probably add on a few more yards on top of that. I think 40 or more is Hail Mary territory. So this was right on the edge of it.
Yeah, and like the receiver is in stride. Like it's not like, I think Hail Mary is if the receivers are down there waiting for it. You know what I mean? Like they rush three, the quarterback is running around until his guys have enough time, or he takes a beat and then throws it on a high arcing to where you know it's going to be a tip drill. That's more, I guess, the definition as I view it of Hail Mary. But still, I mean, you're praying. I mean, if you're an Ole Miss fan, you're still praying. I don't know which prayer you're saying, if it's a Hail Mary or a different one, but you're praying in that moment. And so I do think you got to let some things go, unless it's blatant as a referee.
Well, which is why I was thinking and Miami called a timeout kind of to prevent this, but I was still thinking, was Ole Miss maybe going to throw this? They had 6 seconds, which I think
I agree with you on
3 to 4 is enough to get a little 5 to 10 yard out to the sideline. But I think Miami was a little more keen to it after the timeout. And so maybe Ole Miss just decided like, okay, they'll line up in proper form and make sure we don't do that. But I thought they were going to do it.
I was wondering the same thing because they even put a second back on. I think it was, at least on the TV, it said 5, and then it went back up to 6 after they rehuddled or whatever. So I thought that would have been, because a lot of times, and we've seen like the Chiefs take advantage of that type of stuff too. If they're going to give you something either over the middle, which you can still do it over the middle, you got to be really careful about it because you got to get up and clock the ball. But if you had a timeout, obviously, like in the college game, because the clock does stop to reset it, you can get that done in 3.5, but it's not like basketball. Where
really risky. Got to be 10 yards, first of all, and everyone's got to be, right? Because you've got receivers still running downfield anyway.
You think college kids are going to be able to handle it, but it really all it takes is one quarterback and one wide receiver and maybe one head coach that's sanctioned it ahead of time. But to say, hey, our best possession receiver, whatever, slot guy over the middle, if this is the look you get, you can do this, but just know the stakes, and you got to have everybody on the ball. But with no timeouts left, it's probably got to be something to the sideline. And Miami probably during their timeout said, don't concede anything to where you're talking about a 21-yard touchdown is a much different play to have to defend. And again, I feel like the psychology of it for the referees, they're more likely to call something if it's a goal line-esque type of play, a red zone heave, rather than closer to midfield as it was. But what a game. I mean, back and forth in every different regard. A lot of fun. College football at its best. There's no doubt about it that there, as much as we talk about questions on the format and the portal and the NIL and everything else that happens off the field, the product of college football is as fun as it's ever been.
Oh, yes. It's, I think, still outweighing a lot of that other angst.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you shouldn't fix the angst, but like it's
agree. Yeah, let's have some foresight.
But this game is about as entertaining, I agree, as I've ever seen it. And for Ole Miss, because they lost, guess what? Austin Simmons is in Columbia today. Cool. For his Instagram. Finally got to come into the facility. He's already signed, by the way. So I think folks who are a little angsty about the fact that Trinidad Chambliss didn't or has been denied the extra year, for now at least, no, I don't think Ole Miss is going to go back out chasing Austin Simmons because Austin Simmons is signed.
I think that's already done.
And I think,
by the way, for as much as we had a 48-hour period where we weren't sure what that means to assign a contract and then go back on it, even Damon Williams is like,
that's why I feel better. Like,
I read it. You guys right. You guys are right.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
So
cool,
he's back to Washington
Damon.
is the update there.
Right. So I feel okay about Austin Simmons still being a Tiger and not Ole Miss trying to do the old rope-a-dope and
Here's
go
a
back
question
to
for
her.
you.
Yeah.
Did Bo Prabula ever make it to campus?
I have no clue.
Because that
no
would
idea.
suck.
I just wasted all that time and
I know.
all that. Hopefully they flew him out there if he actually did.
I did think about that originally when it was reported that he was visiting Washington after all the Damon Williams stuff had happened. And my thought process was, what does that say maybe about the state of Prabula's recruiting process right now, that he's doing that without it really being known what the fallout will be of Damon Williams? Like, I can't imagine he would then decide to sign on knowing the other quarterback is still there.
Yeah.
Can't imagine they're wanting to pay any NIL for a backup if you're spending $4 million on a starter. But I did have that fleeting thought of like, I don't know what the market for Bo is on this like high major P4 level. If he, I know he's visited like Nebraska and a couple other ones. I'm going to be very curious to see where Bo ends up. And I hope it is as a starter, by the way. I don't have any ill or disdain for Prabula. I want to see him play and see what he develops into, if anything. But I had that thought where I'm like, if you're Bo and you don't really know what's going on with this Williams guy, you might be wasting your time.
Yeah, why bother?
It's very strange, very interesting situation.
I was a little bit surprised by that too. And so I think the result is that he's going to find did Virginia Tech find their guy? Is that why Prabula isn't at Virginia Tech? It seemed to me that would be the logical landing spot, but I don't know if Virginia Tech has found someone or if Bo didn't like it or anything like that.
I am seeing that the guy who was starting for Penn State is heading back to rejoin James Franklin. Grunkmeyer has transferred to Virginia Tech, which, I mean, he was fine. Like, I don't know for sure that he's better than Bo. I don't know what James Franklin's preference would have been or if there was interest there. But, Grunkmeyer came in after Drew Aller got injured this year. So yeah. I don't know. That's an interesting situation. Maybe Prabula thought, James Franklin would want him or that Penn State would want him back, but it's a new regime now. The longer it goes on, the more I kind of wonder if he ends up at a lower caliber program. But again, it's not anything I'm rooting for, but it is interesting. He was our quarterback in Columbia all year. So still talking about seeing where he lands. And I'm ready to see Mizzou move forward with Austin Simmons and just make sure they've got a good right tackle because he's a lefty. So
we shall see what that looks like for Mizzou as they continue to work in the transfer portal to build the rest of their team. 573-875-KTGR. In the meantime, we'll talk tonight's playoff game between Oregon and Indiana and the NFL playoffs that are on tap with Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com. He joins us next on The Big Show, KTGR.
Miss the latest edition of The Big Show? Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now, wherever you get your apps.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. It is getting to be holiday time, and that means slick roads a lot of the time. So make sure that your tires are in tip-top shape. If you need new ones, now's a great time to get some at Lee's Tire Company because right now they're running a special where you can buy 2 tires and get 2 free on Mastercraft and other select brands. That's right. Buy 2 tires and get 2 free. That'll save you a ton of money if you need new tires or you just want to switch them out for the winter time. You can do that too with Lee's Tire Company. They have an excellent service team at all 3 of their locations that can get your car serviced for these winter months. And of course, they are the tire pros in mid-Missouri. I've gotten my new tires from Lee's Tire Company. You should do so too, especially now. Buy 2 tires, get 2 free on Mastercraft and other select brands at Lee's Tire Company on the Business Loop in Columbia or University Garage by the MU campus or their location in Centralia. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code radio250BM and get your first bet matched as a bonus bet up to $250, whether you win or lose. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Missouri. Open to new users only. Minimum odds minus 500. Awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 14 days after receipt. Bonus bet amount not returned for winning bets. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Gradual breakers. You keep your eyes on the road, so you've seen it all. As long as it all happened directly in front of you, like a Swedish masseuse. Your foot knows exactly the right amount of pressure to apply to the brake. That's why your passengers feel totally relaxed with you behind the wheel and occasionally super sleepy. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
KTGR and MU Healthcare Sports Medicine are highlighting a local athlete each week. It's the KTGR Athlete Spotlight.
This week features Battle sophomore forward Tyel Fry, who scored 33 points along with 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks, as Battle defeated Mexico in the first year of the Spartan Invitational.
That's the KTGR Athlete Spotlight, thanks to MU Healthcare Sports Medicine, providing everything athletes need to be and stay at their best, because they're competitors too.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis. Only $59.99 guaranteed or your money back. Stop smoking without cravings, irritability, or weight gain. That's right. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. Also lose all the weight and let Mark Patrick Hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings. Hypnosis Tuesday, February 3rd at the Capitol Plaza Hotel and Convention Center in Jefferson City, or Wednesday, February 4th at the Holiday Inn Columbia East in Columbia. Weight loss hypnosis 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
So we still have a full weekend of playoff football. It's going to be a lot of fun. Started essentially last night, continues on into tonight with semifinal number 2 in the college football playoff, and then 6 NFL playoff games through Monday night. Call or text us with your thoughts on them, 573-875-KTGR. And now let's bring our good friend Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com in for sports from a Vegas perspective. You can find him on Twitter at Rob Veno Sports and go to WagerTalk.com to see all of his stuff. And Robbie, I mean, this time of year, as we can you hear us, Robbie? Can you give us a thumbs up if you hear us? Do you hear us right now? Give us a thumbs up if you can. Do you hear us at the moment? You do?
I do.
Okay, cool. All right, just making sure. So last night was that, I mean, the way that it played out, odds makers obviously are going to nail the spread pretty much every single time, and they did again. But how do you sort of view the way that the catch-up almost of the points scored between Miami and Ole Miss, and how both teams just kind of went back and forth in the final 7 minutes of the game?
Yeah, it's crazy, Andy, because people holding tickets that had Ole Miss and under with about 17 seconds left quickly saw those turn into Miami and over on one Carson Beck, broken scramble run for a touchdown. So the end of that game, I think kind of showed some of the things that you could have seen coming. For instance, the Miami defensive front looked worn out in the second half. Mississippi only had, less than 10 plays in the first half prior to their final drive where their kicker kicked a 50-plus yard field goal. And by the way, I'll add this. I had Mississippi over 10.5 first half points last night, and sitting there with 10, looking like you might get hooked. But in the back of your mind that he's got a heck of a leg, and sure enough came through and got that. But the second half did break loose, some big plays. Mississippi's defense couldn't hold up. They weren't that good all season long. Statistics sometimes are misleading. Ole Miss really didn't have the manpower against Miami's physicality. But credit to both QBs, guys. Certainly in a losing effort, Chambliss stayed very calm second half and did what he needed to do against a really tough Miami defense. And to Carson Beck's credit, when he needed a couple of big throws, he made them. So, games turn like that on a dime, from winning tickets to losing tickets. Tonight's game is priced at 3 again. I don't know if we see another field goal game, but odds makers' numbers, to your question, generally do get tighter as the season goes on. They know what they're doing.
Well, let me ask you, Robbie, about the other number for tonight then. The total is a tricky one here. These two defenses allowing a combined 3 points in the last round. Who do you think wins out tonight when it comes to the style of game? Is it going to be the offenses, or are the defenses going to continue to have their say in this one?
Well, I'm going to root for the offenses because I played over 47.5 on Tuesday, but for a couple of reasons here, guys. And I kind of handicap when it's applicable by an adage, which I think plays out quite a bit, that coaches love to fix what went wrong the prior time. And in the previous matchup between these two, offense went wrong, right? Oregon had a season low total yardage output. Indiana had a season low yards per play output. The game still got to 50 points somehow, some way, despite Fernando Mendoza telling you that it was hard to even get a play off in Autzen Stadium. They had to go to silent count because it was so loud. From a personnel standpoint, in that opener, Oregon had to face a couple of Indiana's best pass rushers, Kellen Wyatt and Stephen Daly. Both played in that game. Both will not be present here. They didn't play against Alabama. But Alabama their offensive line had been shaky all season long. Oregon's a little bit sturdier, and I think Oregon probably will get an advantage from not seeing those two guys on the pass rush. I think Daly had like 19 and a half tackles for loss or something crazy. But both offensive coordinators are on the hot seat here. They've gone through, I saw Dan Lanning say they've gone through the game film hundreds of times, and I don't doubt that. You're always looking for something. Couple of things I think you might see, guys, just from analyzing what went on in game one. First off, Oregon and Indiana had no familiarity with each other. Remember Kurt Cignetti's first year in the league last year. These two didn't play. So that was kind of the first time feeling out process, so to speak. But in that game, Oregon ran 68 plays, Indiana 64. Only 132 plays in a college football game is extremely low. I'd expect you see a bump in tempo here tonight. And I'd also say that as good as Indiana's defense is, it's not going to be better than what Texas Tech's was last week against Oregon. I mean, Texas Tech's defense was back against the wall the entire game, and Oregon had extreme trouble trying to put up points against them. So they're not going to be better than that. On that same token, Indiana's offense is going to be 100 times better than Barron Morton and Texas Tech were. So I think both will get their share here. I got the number at 47.5, which means I can win a 27-21 game. Now it's 48.5. You have to climb a little higher over that key number. But if you could get 50 the way they got it the first time, I'm pretty sure you could get it on a fast track here tonight in this one with adjustments being made.
Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com with us here on the Big Show, KTGR. On to the NFL, Robbie. 3, I guess, in some places, 4 home underdogs this weekend. I guess the Bears are kind of still on that border a little bit. Some have it as a pick 'em. Others have the Packers still as maybe slight favorites. Just out of the home underdogs, which we were expecting to see few with how the seedings worked out and how the wild card teams all have pretty strong records. Which one do you like the most out of this weekend, out of the home underdogs that we're going to be seeing here?
I think a couple. I think Carolina plus 10.5 might be priced too high. There's another, again, a handicapping adage that if I can't trust you to get stops, I can't trust you to lay that many points on the road. And the LA Rams defense, for what it's worth, it's not really mentioned a lot about how porous they've been, but they haven't been good. Basically, they have one asset. They can pass rush. And if you can avoid that, and Bryce Young did get sacked a couple of times first time around, but if you can avoid that, you can move the football on them. Carolina certainly did first game. We do have that recent series history to go off of, 31-28, pick six included in that 31-4 Carolina, but they got the ball 8 times in that game, guys. 5 drives went for 37 or more yards. 4 of those drives went for 60 or more, and they all scored. So Carolina had their way. Real quick, too, on their defensive side, and Matthew Stafford played one of his worst games in that one, even though it was a 31-28 final. But Carolina was minus J.C. Horn, their number 1 cornerback, and they were minus Trayvon Moehrig, their top safety, because he was suspended for that game. So they were missing 2 key pieces from their secondary. They'll have them back here. I think the Rams will win the game, but 10.5 might be a little stiff. And then, of course, Jacksonville, they're only a 1-point underdog. It's kind of self-explanatory. They're playing so well right now. Buffalo's run defense hasn't been good. So if you were going to look at a couple, I'd look that way. I'm not saying I agree with them. I probably agree with the Carolina a little bit more. Chicago, I can't make heads or tails out of, guys. I don't want to go on too much of a rant, but after last week, when they had the number 2 seed at stake, and they go 3.5 quarters without scoring a point against the Lions defense that has 100 injuries, and they couldn't even score. And Green Bay does have that revenge motive, I think, in the back of their minds, if they need it, from that wild game where, 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions, an onside kick recovery, overtime touch, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. Green Bay, Chicago should be good, and it could be played in snow. Last thing, while I'm on that subject, Rams, Carolina, I saw this afternoon forecasting thunderstorms throughout the time frame of the game from 4 to 9 o'clock at night. Have to keep an eye on that and see, because we watched that heavy downpour in Tampa last week for the Carolina-Tampa game, where the ball was just kind of tough to throw, handle, whatever. We'll see what the weather brings in Carolina tomorrow.
Let me ask about Eagles-Niners, Robbie, because that's one where it feels like the Eagles have the edge, but their offense at times has also not produced the way that you would think that it should. And it kind of reminds me where you mentioned Bears-Lions. Like, why wouldn't the Bears be able to score on that Lions defense? San Francisco has been known to give up some points themselves. How do you see that one playing out? It's the biggest spread of the weekend, other than that Rams-Panthers game, with the Eagles pretty handily favored.
Yeah, Bears-Lions, Brendan, I could be justifying it, but I kind of chalk it up to Dan Campbell maybe knowing what Ben Johnson was going to call. Hey, they handled them twice this year. I thought in a revenge mode, maybe Ben Johnson would come out on top with everything at stake, but he didn't. Campbell won out with a patchwork defense. Here, you kind of hit on the game I like best. It was the first bet I made this week. I played Philadelphia's team total over 24.5. It's been a constant 2-month run for me, not every single week, but the majority of weeks, just trying to find a way to play something over in San Francisco games, because their defense has been so ridiculously bad. And they lose D. Winters and another linebacker. I'm missing the other linebacker who got hurt against Seattle in the 13-3 game, right? And the Seattle 13 points are kind of phony when you look at it. They missed 2 field goals. They get stoned on the 4-yard line. Seattle could have had 27, maybe more in that game. They were up and down the field. Sometimes the perfect elixir for an offense that's not going well is just a miserable defense. And right now, San Francisco's picking up street guys, putting them on the practice squad. Eric Kendricks, I think, or Michael Kendricks, one of the Kendricks brothers, is going to be there for them. You could look for communication problems maybe on a defense that's been a revolving door. I don't want to lay the points with Philadelphia because you're just nervous that the San Francisco offense has been that good. And if Trent Williams does play, obviously he's a difference maker. But Jalen Hurts and company, they've had a week off to get healthy. Looks like Lane Johnson's going to go. And I could see them scoring, getting to 30 here. Interesting sidebar, just because I live in the area. Talk radio here is absolutely on fire. You guys will remember the last time San Francisco came here for a playoff game, the Eagles knocked Brock Purdy out in like the first quarter and broke his elbow, I think. And San Francisco just chirped for 18 months following about how they would have won and kicked Philadelphia's tail if they had their quarterback. So in this territory, people have real short memories or long memories. And, Eagles remember this. I don't think they need that for motivation, but just a little sidebar to what's going on here in town.
Oh, always extra context is needed for a lot of these matchups here. Rob Veno of wagertalk.com here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Robbie, what's your free pick this weekend that you like the most?
I'll go to the playoffs. Brendan, you want to go ahead and pick it for me?
No, you go for it, my friend.
Well, the Buffalo-Jacksonville game over. And the only reason why I said that to you is because you usually know where I'm going. And
I was going to ask you about it, so I'm glad we get to hear the take anyway, since we didn't have time.
Yeah, real quick here. Out of the games that are going to be played, to me, it's the one that's going to go up and down the field. You do get that kind of head-to-head clash. Jacksonville, number one rush defense. Buffalo, number one rush offense. Even if it becomes somewhat of a stalemate or neutralized, I'm always of the opinion that Josh Allen's going to find a way to get theirs. But their run defense is so bad, and Jacksonville's been so good balance-wise offensively. Travis Etienne running. Trevor Lawrence looks like a different guy. It's 51.5 still allows us to win a 28-24 game. I like it quite a bit. I think it'll probably get even higher than that. So I'll leave you with that one. Buffalo-Jacksonville over 51.5.
Robbie, my ladder last night that was successful, I love the props, was Tramar Brown, who cleared the whole ladder for me with 54 rushing yards. Trevor Lawrence rushing yards could be an interesting opportunity there, I wonder, because of exactly what you said with the Buffalo run D.
Yeah, and he's got the ability to make all the plays that we know Josh Allen will make with his legs. Trevor Lawrence is basically the same thing on the other side. So, people will look at Josh Allen rush props and want to jump right on him, but you've basically got the same thing on the other side at a lower price.
Yep.
It is very interesting how both quarterbacks will be viewed that way. But all right, over on Bills Jaguars, Rob Veno of wagertalk.com, sports from a Vegas perspective, on Twitter at Rob Veno Sports, and go to wagertalk.com to see all of his great stuff. Robbie, thanks for coming on the Big Show and talking some playoff football with us. Enjoy the games this weekend. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good weekend.
You too. It is 4:44 here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. I mean, yeah, the rushing totals for quarterbacks, I would love to see how they increase almost across the board in the playoffs, but certainly for Lawrence, like specific players definitely more keen to do that. But I feel like it maybe goes up across the board too.
And his number right now is around 25.5, give or take.
Huh.
I certainly like him for that. And the backup running back for Miami last night was like 13.5 yards was where his prop was. And I just said, I'll keep climbing the ladder and just little sprinkles as you go up. And he got to 54. So that was fun. And I might do the same thing with Trevor Lawrence. I really don't know who's going to win that game between the Bills and Jaguars. But obviously if you love betting overs, that's one that we're all hoping to see some fireworks offensively. I'm kind of surprised they didn't put it in a primetime slot just because of that potential, but it'll be a fun one to watch on Sunday.
So call or text us here at 875-KTGR as we talk some more playoff football in a bit. We'll also talk Mizzou hoops as they get set to play Ole Miss tomorrow. But onto the bus coming up next. Speaking of Ole Miss, they're in a situation now, quarterback-wise. Is there a high-level quarterback up there that could also pull a Kenny Minchie? That's next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou men's basketball tips off against Ole Miss tomorrow at 5 p.m. as the Tigers look for a 3-0 start to SEC play. They had never been 2-0 before, so 3-0 would continue to break that ceiling for them in conference play since joining the SEC. Tigers have wins over Florida and Kentucky so far. Meanwhile, Ole Miss has struggled, losing 3 of their last 4 games. Again, tip-off set for 5 p.m. tomorrow. Pregame at 4:30 right here on KTGR. Mizzou women's basketball led by 3 at one point in the second quarter at number 7 Vanderbilt, but the Commodores surged ahead and pulled away in the second half, winning 99-68. Abby Schreck with 19 points to lead the Tigers. Shannon Dow returned to injury for Mizzou, or returned from injury, but the Tigers still fall in that contest. They're 0-3 in SEC play. Their next chance to get on the board is against Alabama on Monday night. Now your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast.
The foundation is set.
Missouri knocks off the number 1 team in the nation.
The frame is built.
On the run, Mitchell for the plus, Missouri by 20.
And the gates,
the habits, the response to detail, the execution, all that stuff matters.
Are open.
Drives right baseline to the rim, jams it as he hangs and got fouled.
This is your radio home for Mizzou basketball.
Cruz, here comes the 3. Bang, he splashed it home.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station. KTGR.
Welcome to every gym in January. Membership prices, crazy high. Crowds, even worse. All just to wait in line for a bench. Or, hear me out, you could build your own home gym from Play It Again Sports. Free weights, dumbbells, plates, treadmills, ellipticals, benches, racks, and more. New and used, at prices that don't feel like a crime. No crowds, no monthly fees, no awkward eye contact with Chad curling on the squat rack. Play It Again Sports. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play It Again Sports, ColumbiaMo.com.
Life has many sweet sounds. Whether it's being enchanted by the coo of a baby, enthralled by the refrain of a favorite song, or even enlightened by a celebration, hearing connects, informs, and engages us with the world. At Hearing Aid Consultants, helping people hear better is our passion. Set your hearing baseline now so you don't miss the sweet sounds of life.
Hearing Aid Consultants in Allmake Repair Lab. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. HearingAidConsultants.com.
From the trainers to the coaches, the equipment managers to the players and fans, it takes a whole team to be truly successful. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you're looking for the best team of jewelers in Columbia, it's Betts. Their staff has years of experience handcrafting jewelry, and when you combine that with the newest technology, it gives Betts Jewelers the ability to truly wow their customers. So talk to the team at your hometown jeweler today. Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia.
Beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
It's finally the year, right? This time you're committed to getting in shape. In the current issue of Inside Columbia magazine, tone up with our read on local gyms. There's a fit for everyone. Keep warm and stylish this winter with area outfitter inspirations. And don't miss a single event, party, fundraiser, or concert with our community calendar section. This and much more in Inside Columbia magazine. Get yours at break time convenience stores or subscribe at InsideColumbia.net.
Hey y'all, it's Molly from Billiards. Wishing you a happy new year. You know I've had my resolution since November, an apple a day. I was very diligent for about a week. We all know that resolutions are hard to keep. So how about a new challenge? Eat a billiards burger a week in 2026. I do.
Look at home, Jam, for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway.
An apple a day. I'm just going to make a pie.
When it comes to you having unique and trendy items, your business has the it factor. People who come in love the store, the quality, and the prices. Now you just need to pump up the foot traffic. You need to be part of the ShopMidmo.com community of businesses who are growing their customer base. ShopMidmo.com will get your store and products in front of thousands of potential customers. If you know your store has the it factor, give it a jump start. ShopMidmo.com can be your launching pad. Find out how. Contact us at
ShopMidmo.com.
I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds.
And we feel great.
Hypnosis, only $59.99. Tuesday, February 3rd at the Capitol Plaza Hotel and Convention Center in Jefferson City, or Wednesday, February 4th at the Holiday Inn Columbia East in Columbia. Weight loss hypnosis 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m.
Tired of calling Andy and Brendan? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
So obviously a tough quarterback situation now for Ole Miss. Trinidad Chambliss denied the waiver. It looks like he might just have no choice but to go pro. Austin Simmons, obviously a Missouri Tiger. He is signed here. So where do they go? Well, here's the thing. This is from Pete Thamel of ESPN. Sources. Former Florida quarterback DJ Lagway is planning to continue to take visits before officially committing. He had a positive visit to Baylor earlier this week. One program that has consistently expressed interest is Ole Miss. The reports were that he was going to go to Baylor, like that he had committed. Now, I don't know if him officially saying it on social media is one thing or another. There were just reports.
That is one thing or another. If he didn't sign it, then he didn't commit.
Yeah, right.
Verbal is one thing.
So
tangible paperwork is another.
Could be a Kenny Minchie situation, it would appear, as Lagway is still going to leave all the options open for now. And look, Ole Miss needs a quarterback, and so they're probably going to try like hell to get him because honestly, like there might not be much else left if they miss out on Lagway.
Yeah, I still think you'll see more things happen, more twists and turns, but certainly like of that caliber of name, there's no guarantees out there. And, you know, they were hoping to get Chambliss back, and if that's not happening, then they gotta pivot.
So Bamble saying Lagway has long intended to take a full repertoire of visits before making his decision. Others could soon be lined up. So we'll see on that. But Ole Miss, tough 12-ish hours, it would seem, for them. And also under the bus to Paul Feinbaum. I guess he has to leave the country now. He said he would if the SEC didn't win the national championship this year. And sure enough.
I didn't say that.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
This was a weird year to say something like that. It's not like the SEC had a dominant at the top. We spent all year arguing about which team was the best in the SEC, and there wasn't like a clear front runner to maybe take down a national title.
We heard also that it's now 3 years in a row that they not only haven't won it, but haven't even had anybody in the championship game for it. So maybe we see that first before predicting something like that, Paul.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Everyone knows I love the SEC, but I wasn't even saying that. This was not the year to say something like that at all.
So, Paul Feinbaum, I guess time's up. Like, got to do what you got to do, I suppose, with the way that your takes were out there. He has been like backing off of a lot of his like SEC bias recently. It's been very stark of how he's like, oh man, I was dead wrong about all this stuff. Yeah. Seems like you were, buddy. Well, pretty sweet of how the North End Zone project at Memorial Stadium is coming together. And now the photos put out by Mizzou Athletics and Eli Drinkwitz that the Rock M outline, you can see where it's going to be. You can see the level that it's at in relation to the field. And I mean, everything's basically closed off. The structure is there. You just got to put some panels on and fine trim, everything like that. And now you see where the M is going to be. It's all part of the plan, Brendan. Pretty nice to see.
It is nice to see. It's coming along really well, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see it completed. And that day is coming sooner than you think. I mean, it's well on its way, and curious to see exactly what they do, if it's just like standard Rock M or if it looks a little bit different given the, you know, it's gonna be like the turf instead of the grass or whatever they do. But yeah, they're making progress, and I'm excited. Already can't wait for next fall.
Yeah. Hopefully everything's on schedule. Rain and snow mostly stays away in the high peak hours of the work time and everything like that, because we're about to hit the period of, you know, snow and everything through these next couple of months. So hopefully they are not too impeded by any of that. And yeah, it will be interesting because again, you do need a good amount of general seating to kind of keep that sort of element of the hill, if you will. Obviously there's a lot of premium suites and everything like that, but I think it is important to it for fans at least to know, like, okay, are we still sitting on rocks? How much space is there around the rocks? Everything like that. Wonder when they'll update us on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, when it's all in due time. I'm not worried. It'll be good.
And just make sure you pay for it too. 573-875-KTGR if you want to call or text us here. So again, Mizzou men's basketball has never started 3-0 in SEC play, but they'll try to do it as they visit Ole Miss this weekend. Again, Tigers are a slight favorite on the road. So who you got between the Tigers and the Rebels? We'll talk about that at 5:05. In the NFL, we kind of talked with Rob Veno about it a little bit last segment. There's at least 3, and depending on where you look, 4 home underdogs in the NFL playoffs this weekend. So how many of them will actually win outright? We'll talk about that at 5:25. You can get your thoughts in on it. And of course, every Friday, we close it out with the picks of the week. We'll have the NFL playoffs available to be picked. Tonight's college football playoff game and some college basketball. 8 SEC games to choose from for tomorrow. Picks of the week will come your way at 5:45. Here on The Big Show, KTGR and the free KTGR app.
If you're craving something delicious, find your way to the Pasta Factory, where everything's made from scratch daily. Their fresh sauces, cakes, quiche, dressings, and soups are sure to tantalize your taste buds. And all pasta entrees are cooked, baked, and tossed to order. Don't leave without sampling those homemade desserts, lovingly crafted by Jason and Rob. Good. The Pasta Factory. Visit them at 3103 West Broadway Business Park, right in front of Walmart. Celebrating 50 years in business. The Pasta Factory, where fresh meets flavor.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code radio250BM and get your first bet matched as a bonus bet up to $250, whether you win or lose. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Missouri. Open to new users only. Minimum odds -500. Awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 14 days after receipt. Bonus bet amount not returned for winning bets void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're a merchant of all things that are man. Firearms, fishing, cars, food, sports. Yeah, the kind of stuff every man always needs more of. So show it off at the Mecca of Man, the 2026 Como Man Show, Saturday, March 14th at the Northeast Event Center where the Boone County Fair is held. It's the best and most fun way to show every man they need what you got. Seriously, by showing them. Bring your best stuff, show it off, and have a blast. For more info on being a vendor at the Man Show, go to ComoManShow.com.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway. When severe weather hits, scammers often follow. They may pose as charities, jack up prices on essentials, or offer fraudulent home repairs. I'm committed to protecting Missourians from those scams. If you've been targeted or suspect price gouging, report it to our office at 800-392-8222 or online at ago.mo.gov.
Paid for by the Missouri Attorney General's Office.
KTGR AM Columbia. KTGR FM Fulton, Columbia. K286CL Columbia. In Missouri's total sports station. KTGR.
I'm Sean Ryder. The college football playoff semifinals continue tonight with the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in Atlanta. Number 1 and 14-0 Indiana facing number 5 and 13-1 Oregon. Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq on the depth of the Ducks roster.
Lanning says about every day in practice, there's going to be someone that shows up that hasn't all season. And that's so true. So, there'll be someone this game that has a great game, but that just shows, once again, the depth of our roster. I think, those guys that have left in the portal, guys that are down for injury, and there's still going to be guys stepping up in just about everywhere. So, like I said, it just really shows the character, I think, of this team and the roster depth.
And Oregon versus Indiana for a spot in the national championship game against Miami. The Peach Bowl is on ESPN Radio and TV tonight, with coverage starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Oregon leading rusher Noah Whittington will be a game-time decision with an undisclosed injury, reports ESPN's Keith Thamel. NBA Mavericks star Anthony Davis has ligament damage in his left hand that could require surgery, and that would sideline him for several months, reports ESPN's Shams Charania.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
From Faro.
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush.
Back to the wall, and it's got her.
and Arrowhead.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
To your speakers.
This is the big show, baby!
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
Getting set for a big weekend. It's going to include another Mizzou basketball game with the Tigers still trying to remain unbeaten in conference play. Can they get it done against Ole Miss? Who you got? Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. That gets underway at 5 o'clock tomorrow. But we have a lot to discuss when it comes to the NFL playoffs. 6 games across the long weekend. And so we'll talk about the home underdogs in particular. There's at least 3 of them. How many of them will win this weekend outright? Not just covering the spread, but how many of them will actually advance to the next round? Give us your thoughts on that, and we'll have our picks of the week also at 5:45. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Well, the CFP semifinal round got off to a wonderfully exciting start last night. Miami taking down Ole Miss 31-27 to advance to the national championship game. Everything Ole Miss is involved with on the football field is absolute electricity because their defense isn't that great, but their offense is in rare form. It was wonderful to watch Trinidad Chambliss try to make a game of it and change things up in the end. I have no problem with no pass interference being called in the end zone on that last gasp heave by the Ole Miss offense. I think that's one where you just maybe got to let them play through. But, man, what a game it was, and hopefully sets the table for what could be another compelling showdown tonight.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
And that's Oregon and Indiana. We are seeing the line movement toward Oregon over the past 24 hours or so, and I'm really starting to get nervous as an Indiana backer in my jurisdiction of legality. I just think Dante Moore is going to be the difference. The more that I think about it, he's going to be without a number of his running backs. Even the starter, Whittington, is questionable to play due to injury. So if Dante Moore just has to put the team on his back, can he outduel the Heisman? I don't know. I think there's a chance that Oregon plus the points might be the play tonight, but I can't wait to watch it either way.
Number 3.
There's Jordan for 3. Yes!
Mizzou basketball, a small favorite on the road tomorrow, tomorrow as Mizzou travels down to Oxford looking for an unprecedented 3-0 start in SEC play. Yeah, never done that since joining the league in 2012. And look at Ken Pom, SEC. It's the last ranked team, Ole Miss, around 70th in the Ken Pom rankings. So, yeah, I would like to see Mizzou take advantage of this opportunity. And as long as they don't slip up, it would really be a trajectory toward feeling very good about their NCAA tournament chances.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Ketel Marte will not be moved by the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's the update from this morning from Ken Rosenthal. And I think it impacts the Cardinals because the teams that may have been interested in him, maybe now they move on to some of the St. Louis infielders that are on the trade block. Nolan Arenado, obviously, is somebody the Cardinals would like to unload. What about Brendan Donovan? It's been kind of strange. I certainly expected him to be traded by now, and the fact that it hasn't happened has me wondering a little bit. Would the Cardinals be willing to hold on to him if their asking price is not met? I'm not sure the answer to that, but I think we'll find out soon.
Number 5.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face. Slap!
Damon Williams Jr. is heading back to Washington after all. Yeah, I imagine he got a look at that contract and realized the implications weren't going to land in his favor and said, hey, guys, I'm happy to be here.
That's The Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
Call or text us at 875-KTGR. I mean, yeah, it should have been the outcome the whole time. I don't understand why he thought there was any wiggle room out of that. Signed it, buddy. Here you are for at least one more year, right?
And as college football fans, I don't know. I'm just used to there being no rules. And so when everybody said, yeah, he wants to do this, I thought, well, I guess he's going to be allowed to. But I'm glad that cooler heads prevailed, that contract law prevailed. I don't really know how they ended up at that resolution. I'm glad that they did. What it means is that Bo Prabula, despite it being reported he would be visiting Washington, I imagine he's not going to end up as the Huskies' backup quarterback this next year. But there was a report since our show began that Bo Prabula will be visiting Tennessee to potentially.
Let me remind myself of the schedule. They don't play Tennessee next year.
Consideration of that.
Do they
think we play Tennessee next year? I don't
Go
think so.
and check. Let's go and check. See,
That would
certainly be notable if, in
be
fact,
something.
it comes to fruition for Bo Prabula and for Tennessee.
And that's Matt Zenitz. He's been the official on all things Bo Prabula. So Tennessee plans to bring in Prabula for a visit, according to his sources.
No Tennessee on the schedule next year, but that means 2027. Yes,
I totally support it. I almost want to see it happen, just because be keeping tabs on him within the SEC, and then, like you said, maybe even another year down the road, could Bo still be there? I would be fine with that outcome. And also, I don't know. It'd just be very compelling to me.
It's only got 1 year left, I think, right?
There's no rules. Again, I'm never going to say with
I
any
mean, don't
certainty.
tell that to Trinidad Chambliss. Like, he's got to at least sue right now.
You can't play for 6 years, okay? But
Well, he didn't play for 6 years, technically.
That's what I'm saying. And he can't. He's being told that he can't.
He didn't. He hasn't. He redshirted, and then there was a year where he didn't play at all.
I'm saying he can't play for 6 years. That's what they're telling him.
Well, right. But you would argue that so far he has only played for 3. That's the argument he is making.
Yeah, he's been in college for like 100. So he's
been in college for 5
Go to the
so
NFL draft.
far.
Why would he not be drafted as one of the first, 2 or 3 quarterbacks off the board? I don't understand.
He projects as a day 3 guy.
Well, he shouldn't. Someone draft him. He's good. Like,
but he doesn't get to decide that. That's the problem. Like he probably
NFL
needs
teams-
another year to become one of those types of things that you're describing. You
NFL
yourself,
teams
like I
get
get
to
it.
decide.
Like you would take him. I probably would take him. NFL
There's an
teams
NFL
think
team that would
differently.
take him. I don't think that's true. I don't think that we know that. I think some bozo for ESPN might have said it, but that's not. The draft hasn't happened. We have no idea where he would go. Shedeur Sanders was supposed to go in this first or second round too, and then he didn't. And then he ended up being like decently okay and passable. So,
well, okay, little bit different situation there. His last name is Sanders.
It proves the point.
Okay, but
that
if you're
what we think
projecting
about
right
a
now
player-
as a day 3, do you really expect that to all of a sudden shoot up to top 5 pick? What are you doing?
I never said top 5 pick. You always want to go to one extreme or the other. There is plenty of room for him to be selected as a day 2 pick, as a second round pick, as a third round pick, which would be perfectly reasonable to do. Yeah, I get it. He probably would make more money in a college contract for 1 more year, but that's not an opportunity being afforded him because he was in college for so long. So here we are. But no, it's weird to me that he wouldn't be higher. And I would bet on him going high earlier in the NFL draft than if you're telling me that they're saying a day 3 pick. I would say it's going to happen earlier than that. And my confidence behind that prediction, despite the fact that that's not what's being projected, is that often the projections are wrong. And they were wrong on this player. He was the backup to begin the year and ended up leading his team to the semifinal. That's not to diminish Austin Simmons. I'm not saying that he wouldn't have done the same. But like clearly this kid has been it's been underreported how good he is because he was playing at a Division II and was probably not ever going to be on anybody's draft board. And then he gets an opportunity as a backup. Yeah, we have to adjust our opinion on Trinidad Chambliss, I think, pretty clearly. And that would include probably him getting an NFL opportunity in the draft this year if he goes.
So we'll see. It's pretty much his only option now, or at least timely option. If he chooses to sue, Ole Miss is choosing to appeal. His agent or lawyer or whoever it is saying, hey, we could take this to court still, and that would be a much more
Work
even
for
playing
Pavia.
field. So, I mean, look, it can work, it would seem, but I don't know. Well, I agree with you that if he has the same type of year next year in a college year to show that he is that type of talent, then yeah, like he shoots up boards and he is taken within the first 30 picks. I'm saying the reality is that NFL teams will probably not do that within the context of how he has been playing very well so far, but just not to the degree that maybe they all see. And like, do we have a draft board right now that shows the quarterback hierarchy and how many teams need quarterbacks at the moment? Like, I don't know. We'll see.
No, I don't think that his play, there's been anything other than fantastic. There's no knocks on his play. It's just been a very rapid ascent because he wasn't even the starter on his own college team to begin the season. So that is the indicator that adjustments need to be made. I'm looking at a mock draft that has Mendoza 1, Dante Moore 2. We're going to see both those guys go at it tonight. And, the degree to which those guys are legitimate number 1, number 2 picks, I don't know. But every time you're the best quarterback in a class and you're a team like the Raiders or the Jets that is at the top of the draft needing a quarterback, like those two guys will certainly get taken. I think it's even better for Chambliss, the idea that he could land in the second or third round and end up at a place that, can afford to give him a little bit more of that seasoning rather than drop him into the draft into a starting role right away. But yeah, if they're saying day 3 pick, I'm just simply saying I disagree. And I think by the time we get to the draft, it'll change.
Well, he can certainly raise his profile by going through combine stuff and other things like that. It's just Pete Thamble's story says right now he's projected as a day 3 pick in April's draft. So we'll see.
I disagree.
We'll see. 875-KTGR. Give us a call or a text. All right, who you got? Mizzou or Ole Miss? In hoops tomorrow, 5 p.m. tip. Tigers looking for a 3-0 start. And we've seen an SEC availability report just yet. Oh, go and dig that down. But, whether Javon Porter plays or not, it hasn't necessarily hindered Mizzou last couple of times. They've got the personnel, it would seem, to have the floor spacing and everybody in their spots the way that they want it to. And if they're able to get to their plan A with how they want to attack Ole Miss, then should be a game that they're able to put in their favor. I'm just saying temper your expectations if they don't. That's all I'm saying. Don't
I don't know what that means.
Go doom and gloom all of a sudden if they don't get it done. That's all I'm saying.
But expect to win this game because you're playing the worst team in the SEC, and you gotta get those.
Do we
wins
know that for sure?
You're now. See, this is what I wonder about. Why is it that when Ken Pom tells me that they're the worst team in the SEC right now,
but are they going to finish that way? Are they going to finish the season that way? Because South Carolina is 69. They're right next
neck
to
and neck. They could easily, but that's my point with why is it now we're appealing to authority and we're trusting that, that we don't know if Ken Pom is right or not. But when it comes to the NFL draft projections, we're totally ready to say that, nope, Chambliss is just a day.
Okay, the NFL draft projections are on human opinions, and this is on completely objective stuff.
Which is why it's weird.
Debunk that immediately.
Which is why it's weird that you're trusting the NFL draft projections, but you're not trusting Ken Pom. When I said, Ole Miss is the worst team. That's what Ken Pom says.
The reality of how human opinions affect the NFL draft is a little bit more conducive to how the draft goes versus this. Teams get picked that are lower than each other in Ken Pom, above them for the NCAA tournament all of the time, even though that might not be exactly what the metrics say about them. So
Ole Miss vying to be the worst team in the SEC.
I think they're on a similar tier as South Carolina and Mississippi State and Oklahoma, and I think there's an argument for all 4 of them. So and they'll probably duke it out. They'll duke it out for that title, I think, all season long. That being said,
and they're in the lead with 7 losses on the year.
That being said, Ole Miss is a team that is scuffling right now, but at the moment, they see it probably as an opportunity themselves coming home. Hey, we need a win. That's a dangerous team. Just saying.
Yeah.
Desperate team.
It's a team that you should expect to beat, though. And if it's one that you do beat, you can feel good about it. Like, it's not like we would minimize the victory, but I think avoiding the setback where you lose a game as a favorite, slight though it may be, would be notable. That would be like, again, we talked yesterday about the data points argument where you could right now look at it and say, I don't know, Kentucky's just a mess. And so that they're, Eli Hoff said it to us yesterday. They didn't look like a good basketball team in that game. And I totally agree. They didn't. But the more different teams you beat, the more difficult it becomes to kind of hand wave it away and say, they're playing teams that are down on their luck right now. Like, well, if you're doing it to everybody you play, you can only play your schedule. So it would be notable if they can do it again in a road setting. I mean, you never started 3-0. We've talked about that, but the idea that you could do it by winning 2 road games out of the 3 feels significant as well.
Well, it gives you more margin for error, right? If you get this one, another road game, back-to-back games that you get it, and then you come home and obviously would at that point, I think if you're winning that game on the road at Ole Miss, you're probably expecting to beat Auburn at home because you will definitely be favored in that game. But it gives you the margin for error if in fact you don't. And so like that, it's all about getting to a number that impresses the NCAA tournament committee enough. And there are games that are tougher to get, no doubt. But I mean, I think the way that you put together your record will be nitpicked here and there, but putting yourself in the conversation is what Mizzou ultimately wants out of this team now, based on what they've done so far. And so that'll be the question going forward. I'll say this, with Ole Miss being a team that's, doesn't defend the three very well, Mizzou can maybe try and space it out a little bit more and try to get their offense done that way. So maybe I think Jacob Cruz has only attempted like 2 or 3 3-pointers over the last 2 games. I would say, okay, you can maybe stay outside a little bit more and get your shots, catch and shoot type of stuff, and see if we can get our offense that way. Mizzou hasn't had to rely upon that recently, but maybe they can do so against this Ole Miss team.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't look to really shake it up too much from what they've done successfully, but especially if it's something that you do go to and it works early, I'd be willing to do it. But Mizzou is borderline unwatchable when it was the whole offense was just Jacob Cruz chucking up threes, but it is matchup based. And we talked about how Dennis Gates in at least the last 2 games has gotten his guys prepared for what the matchup could throw at them and has been able to make the adjustments necessary. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I would also look at it and say, like, Jaden Stone can knock down a 3. Like they got other guys too that are going to be able to potentially take advantage if there's a weak point on the outside defense for Ole Miss that Mizzou might be able to take advantage.
So we'll see how Ole Miss comes out defensively in that. I mean, similar team almost to Mizzou defensively. I mean, Tigers have really upped their metrics on the defensive side of things so far. Ole Miss at the moment 69th in adjusted defense, according to KenPom. Mizzou offensively should still be able to get what they need. And then defensively, I wonder if you can find a way to turn this team over. Rebounding also going to be a key part. This could be a spot where the Tigers actually out-rebound their opponents. They were even essentially, even with Florida. I think Kentucky slightly won the battle on Wednesday nights. This could be a spot where the Tigers are a bit of a longer team, and maybe if we're saying expect to win this game, maybe we expect them to win the rebounding battle in the way that they put together that type of win, because they've got the size advantage.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got that size advantage and you maintain the intensity of the way they've crashed on the glass in the last 2 games, I don't see any reason they shouldn't at least break even and honestly probably have a bit of an advantage. It's intensity, man. Rebounding is just so much about intensity and going out there and doing it. And when you've got maybe a physical attribute that leans in your direction as well, I would certainly make that the hope that they would be able to contend in that regard. So like it's either that or you make up for if there is a deficit in that department, which, we've seen before prior to the last 2 games, then maybe it is the outside shooting that ends up waking up. Like they haven't shot the lights out in that regard over the last couple of games that have been so great that they've won. I feel like there are going to be games where they do shoot well. Maybe this is just a version of the Mizzou basketball experience that they don't have those types of shooters that consistently can do things like Caleb Grill did last year. And maybe that isn't the way that a lot of their games will go. But I think inevitably you're going to have some nights where you're really feeling it as a team. And so if that should happen in this one, then you would certainly be feeling pretty good about your chances, whether the rebounding goes the way that you hope it does or not.
Call or text us 573-875-KTGR. Sam says Mizzou is 12-0 when scoring 70 points or more. Just food for thought. That was a key number a few years ago.
Was it 70?
Dennis Gates, 70 or more. Yep.
Okay.
12-0. So that's all of their wins so far, right?
Yeah.
They have not. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. They haven't won a game where they scored fewer than that. So key number to get to, because they're 0-6 when they don't score that.
And Ole Miss slows it down. Their tempo is a slower tempo, which is something I always bring up and worry about when it comes to
Yeah, but
Mizzou.
But looking at the KenPom numbers, Mizzou has also considerably slowed it down themselves. They're down to 227.
So that's a good point,
right?
Yeah.
So
it's not maybe as big of a kryptonite. Like last year, it was very clear. If you were in that situation with a team that was going to try to slow you down, it was brutal. And if you were playing against a team that would play faster than you on purpose, you loved it. That was the Alabama game, and that was very one trick pony. I would love to find that this year's team is more adaptable to be able to do it at different gears and different speeds of game.
Now, on offense, Mizzou's trying to speed it up.
Yeah.
And defensively, their opponent has slowed it down a bunch. But I think what's notable is that even when Mizzou defensively has had to defend for a very long time, they've still been able to hold up enough, especially in these last couple of games. I have marked down several spots where they had a very long, like full shot clock possession that they had to defend. They get up a shot at the buzzer and they clear the rebound. Like there were several instances against Florida that was key, certainly against Kentucky too. So the fact that their opponent is still slowing it down is maybe not essentially what they want to do, but they're still being able to defend the way that they need to even throughout that.
And I don't think they would have the discipline to have done that over the last two games without Pierce and without Stone.
Yeah.
Like I think their length and their intensity on defense, their attention to defense, and the principles that it involves have made a difference. And I think if you didn't have those two guys in there as a lineup, they would have the tendency to get a little bit antsy, a little bit, you try to jump a passing lane. And then when you don't, you're exposed somewhere. And I think we've seen less of that, which had been kind of the hallmark of like, well, if we get something done really quick on defense, even if it means they score, we get to go try to score even faster. And so it's fun. I like that there's been a little bit of a shift in that, and I'm just intrigued to see if it's something that can be maintained.
Call or text us. Who you got? 573-875-KTGR. You want my score prediction? Mizzou 73, Ole Miss 70.
Not
an easy game.
Expecting to win. You're expecting to win by only 3.
I mean, when I put the margin within that, it is a bucket either way. So sort of expecting it, but not going to be completely shocked if Mizzou drops this one.
And let's ask this. I'll take the hypothetical a step further. If that's the score,
yeah,
you mentioned earlier that they would be favored over Auburn. Auburn is 38th in KenPom. I don't know who they play tomorrow. What do you really think the spread would be against Auburn if Mizzou wins a close one here in the 70s?
2.5.
Mizzou's side?
Yeah. And that would be a little bit higher than what even KenPom projects. KenPom projects it as a 1-point win.
I don't know if that's fascinating to me. If Mizzou wins close, I still am not convinced they're going to be favored. Like, how much are we adjusting after a 12.5-point underdog? You end up winning outright by 5. Thinking, okay, now you're coming back home. Like, that absolutely is probably in college basketball more than any other sport. The way you determine a point spread is you ask first, well, where are they playing the game? But I'll be very curious about that because I still think we're in that kind of murky middle period where we're learning about Mizzou and the sports books are learning about Mizzou and the metrics are learning about Mizzou and trying to figure out where to place them because we have seen one extreme and we have seen the other. And we're just hoping that the more recent one ends up being kind of more closer to the truth. I'll say Mizzou's going to win the game. Like I really hope that they do. I think it is going to be close as well, but one that like says a lot. If they're able to go and get this one, you're just continuing to stack these types of outcomes no matter who you're facing, really. Give me 76-71, Missouri.
Okay. Let's close it out with free throws. It sounds like they can get that done. We'll see if the Tigers are able to get to a 3-0 start after visiting Ole Miss this upcoming weekend. 573-875-KTGR. Get your score predictions in for Mizzou Ole Miss basketball. In the meantime, also tell us how many home underdogs will win this weekend in the NFL playoffs. That's next.
Breaking down the Tigers, Cardinals, Chiefs, and more like no one else. The Big Show continues next on KTGR.
On an all-new Dr. Bill, how old is too old to be sleeping with mom and dad when you're a bed bug?
We just can't do it anymore. He's almost an adult. Now, I have to be honest here. You are truly one of the most wretched, disgusting, blood-sucking insects that we have ever had on this show.
I mean, yeah, I'm a bed bug.
Can Dr. Bill help this bug grow his wings and fly?
I mean, no. No, I'm a bed bug. We don't have wings.
You need to stop with the excuses.
Today at 4 on Dr. Bill.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. And if you ever have a bed bug problem, just call me at Steve's Pest Control. I've got the equipment, the experience, and a team of dedicated experts. If you want your bugs removed, eradicated, or just plain old-fashioned dead, we're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
Before the sun comes up and long after it sets, ABC 17 News and Storm Track Weather keep working for you, gathering the information your family needs to take on the day, alerting you to breaking news and health and safety concerns in our area, plus tracking the latest weather conditions to help you plan ahead. It's everything you need to know from the team you trust most. ABC 17 News and Storm Track Weather, where the news comes first.
Hi, my name's Robin Fletcher. I've smoked for 46 years. I went to a seminar in March of 27 and seen Mark. My best friend came with me. We both went to it, and neither one of us smoked a cigarette in almost 7.5 months. I took my 3 sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's best friend and them went. None of them have smoked a cigarette, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
My name is Jen Carpenter. I went to a Mark Patrick seminar, the Stop Smoking, and it worked. A friend of mine also went, and he still no longer smokes, and it was just amazing.
Lose weight or stop smoking with Hypnosis Guaranteed, only $59.99 or your money back. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all or your money back. Stop Smoking Hypnosis, 8 p.m. on Tuesday, February 3rd at the Capitol Plaza Hotel and Convention Center in Jefferson City, or 8 p.m. on Wednesday, February 4th at the Holiday Inn, Columbia East in Columbia. Registration 30 minutes before. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Paradise doesn't have to be far away. Sometimes it's a quiet walk through a state park. Sometimes it's your favorite takeout and a night in. At Shangri-La, we believe that cannabis belongs in those everyday moments, not as an escape, but as part of living well. That's why we offer 20% off select category every day, plus 20% off store-wide every Sunday. Thoughtful products, honest guidance, real value. Shangri-La, discover paradise. Learn more at ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
Life has many sweet sounds, whether it's being enchanted by the coo of a baby, enthralled by the refrain of a favorite song, or even enlightened by a celebration. Hearing connects, informs, and engages us with the world. At Hearing Aid Consultants, helping people hear better is our passion. Set your hearing baseline now so you don't miss the sweet sounds of life.
Hearing Aid Consultants in Allmake Repair Lab. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. HearingAidConsultants.com.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
Mizzou Ole Miss this weekend. Call or text us with your predictions on that. 573-875-KTGR. Auburn, the next opponent. Auburn is hosting Arkansas this weekend. And by the sports books, or at least the one that I used for picks of the week, 1.5 point underdog is Auburn at home against Arkansas. Seems about right. But also when you look at KenPom says Auburn's going to win by 1. So it's kind of within that margin a little bit. Usually those two numbers, what KenPom thinks and what Vegas thinks, they're usually not further than 3 or 4 points apart. So wherever in that margin is probably where the game's going to land. But yeah, if Mizzou wins this weekend, yes, I fully expect that they will be favored against Auburn at home Wednesday.
Could be. Who's Auburn play tomorrow? I assume they play.
I just said Arkansas. They host Arkansas at home.
Yeah. If they beat them, though, that's a pretty impressive win.
It is. How much also does matter a little bit. But again, we still don't know Mizzou's results. So, if they, let's say they go into Ole Miss and they just have no problem and they build it up to a double-digit win or something like that, then that could kind of change the math. A lot can happen this weekend as we're still very early in conference season. Still not sure how these teams with just quality games all in a row are going to respond each and every week. And so there will be the catch up to that by both KenPom and Vegas. But Mizzou, a slight home favorite, or not home favorite, road favorite tomorrow. We shall see how it goes. You can hear coverage starting at 4:30 for that right here on KTGR. In the meantime, NFL playoffs will be happening too. I'll be around the time when the first playoff game gets started as well between the Rams and Panthers tomorrow. The Panthers certainly a home underdog. Jaguars are a home, well, depending on where you look, Jags are either like 1-point dogs or some places have it as a pick 'em. And the Bears are underdogs at home and the Steelers are underdogs at home. So that's 3.5 teams. How many of them win this weekend?
Well, I can't count Jaguars as an underdog. Right now, I'm looking at it. It's literally -110 on both sides for the money line. And they've got the alternate of the Jaguars -1.5. But it's basically, that is such a coin flip. Look, man, when we went back to talking about how this would be a topsy-turvy playoffs because the teams at the top didn't necessarily feel like the best teams, I do kind of expect us to see that play out. You might get one of them that wins, but I don't think the Panthers are going to win. Obviously, 10.5 would be a heck of an upset. I am more and more thinking the Packers are going to have the Bears number. That's a spread even that I think I would play on the Packers side at -1.5. The last time that crazy game happened, am I mistaken? I don't think they had Jordan Love in that game. And so the idea that, the Bears needed everything they could possibly muster to beat them, and they didn't really even have their best foot forward with their quarterback healthy. I feel like the Packers are going to end up being able to take advantage of the Bears in that one. That would be my concern because I kind of want to see the Bears win. And
I would love to see the Bears win.
And like they barely beat them when they had Malik Willis. So I'm kind of
sure. Jordan Love's always erratic though. I mean, sometimes you never know what you're going to get. And maybe it would have been the exact same with Jordan Love in there. I don't know. Not exactly the same, obviously.
I can't remember when he got knocked out. If it felt like it was kind of early in the game and Willis played it like the whole second half. But
either way, I think it does come down to the wire. I would love to see Chicago win. Packers were my Super Bowl pick before the season, though.
I feel so dumb about that too. Is thinking like when the Parsons stuff was happening, I'm like, oh, the Packers they're going to steamroll everybody,
right?
And then even the first couple of weeks you got to see, and you're like, oh yeah, this is going to be what we thought it was. And then, well, he's hurt now too, but they just haven't been that dominant team. They have been erratic and inconsistent, and maybe that's Jordan Love. Maybe it's maybe it's just the parity of the league that they haven't been as dominant as I thought they'd be. The 7th seed, for crying out loud. I feel like it could be kind of like that Miami thing, Miami Hurricanes. Here we are, playoffs. Like, how good are you really? And I think the Packers are still a pretty good team.
Well, Bills kind of have the same type of mantra with that too, with the fact that they're the 6,
right?
And like it is a true coin flip game. Pick 'em. Some sportsbook favor one side, some sportsbook favor the other. It is true, but still one that all of us feel like, all right, Bills, now's your time. No Mahomes.
Yes.
No Lamar. Go win it. No Burrow.
I hate the matchup for the Bills because I think the Jaguars are coached by a guy that really knows what he's doing. Is going to come in with a really good game plan.
Yeah.
And in Bills, if they have a deficit, it's on defense. So, like, I think it's a tough draw if you're Buffalo, which again, beggars can't be choosers when you're the 6th seed. But I would look at the rest of the playoff field and say, like, Patriots, Chargers, Steelers, Texans, any of those would have been, I think, more favorable. Maybe not Texans, because we did see that one play out. But, like, Jaguars is a tricky one, especially to have to go to their place and play it. I would say I would take the Bills to beat Denver. And maybe we'll get a chance to see that if they can get by Jacksonville. But I just don't know, man, about this one. I haven't bet it. I'm afraid to. Like, I want to bet the over and just be a fan and say, like, go points. But I feel like you're going to see a really good plan out of Liam Cohen. Is Liam Cohen better coach than Sean McDermott? I don't know. It's early in his coaching tenure, but he might be. He's a stud, in my opinion.
At first, I thought the answer was obvious, but I spent 2 seconds thinking about it. Is it all that obvious? I don't know anymore.
It's going to be an awesome game.
It will be.
I feel about that game the way I feel about tonight's college game, where I think it comes down to a possession.
Yeah.
And it'll be a memorable one.
Call or text us 875-KTGR. Sam is here on the KTGR hotline. Sam, what you got?
Okay, I feel like I'm being goaded by
I wasn't
Brendan.
doing it on purpose.
I just want to say that right now. So I'm a little bit ashamed that you're not pulling for our Mizzou guy and Luther Burden.
I'm not rooting for the Packers.
Kind of disappoints me. So, well, I think you were there. That's how my spidey sense picked
Well,
it.
he's rooting for Tyron Hopper, Sam. Sorry. Different Mizzou guy.
Thank you for
All
backing me up, Andy. No, I'm rooting for my wallet. Like, if I bet the game, I think I got to bet Packers, but I understand.
Well, both games, like you said, came down to the wire, and they had Jordan Love the entire game in Green Bay. So that was an interesting one as well. It's going to be kind of crappy weather, which both teams play in crappy weather. So we'll see how that plays out. But I've got the Bears winning at the buzzer with a Cairo Santos field goal with time expiring.
How many yards?
43.
43.
Yeah, don't say a long one for him.
Oh, yeah, I can't do that. Appreciate the call, Sam. Here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. I hope so,
I'm rooting
too.
for the Bears.
Yeah, me too.
I will be rooting for the Bears. Picks of the week, I may go the Packers side on that. We'll see. But I will not. I'm not going to promise anything because I really could see it. I really could see that I need to put a little, like, you're telling me a Packers-Eagles parlay isn't just the answer to the question. If there was a quiz, that would be the answer this weekend on how you make a little money.
Packers-Eagles, money line?
Just money lines.
Just money lines? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be the ticket. But I'll be rooting for Luther Burden and those guys to do well and to win. I would prefer the Bears to win, but I don't think it's going to happen.
So I would like at least one team to do it. The Bears. Victor says one home underdog will win this weekend. Chicago, Houston, and the LA Rams will both win as road favorites. I do think Rob was onto something on probably the Panthers cover the spread, but I don't think they win.
I was going to mention that as well. The Rams looked horrific. I watched that whole game in Carolina back in November, and they just looked terrible on defense.
Yeah.
Now, is it as simple as like, okay, the stakes are real now. We can't overlook you because it's a playoff game. Is that enough to, make this a 13 or 14 point win for the Rams? I don't know, but I feel like it's not. That's a ton of points. I don't know if I have the guts to bet the Panthers, but I don't want to touch the Rams on the spread. I think the Rams are going to win, but I don't know that you're going to get to halftime and be going, if you bet that Rams spread, you'd be sitting there going, what in the world have I done? Because it could be 10-7 or 13-9. Like, it could be a weird type of game, and weather could be a factor there, as we talked with Rob Veno. So I don't think anything about the spread on that one, but it would be truly earth-shattering, in my opinion, for the Rams to lose that game outright.
Yeah. Which, who knows? It's the NFL playoffs.
Could happen.
Thought the Lions would steamroll the Commanders last year and similar type spread.
Uh-huh.
Now the Lions were at home in that one. And so who knows? But very interesting stuff. Monday night.
This is the game that neither of us have had the guts to bring up yet in this context of home underdogs. The Steelers haven't lost on Monday Night Football in 23 years. That's the stat I keep hearing all week long. 3-point underdog for the Steelers at home. What are you actually feeling about this? I ask our resident Texans fan.
Again, can the Texans score? Like, can you consistently finish in the red zone? Because I'm not too worried about them moving the ball. There have been way too many moments where Kaimi Fairbairn is getting way too much work. Like, look, great kicker. No, love that guy. He's out on the field way too much. They need to finish off these drives with touchdowns to win on the road against this team.
I do not want to see a game plan that leans on too much of the run game for Houston.
Yeah, me
the
neither.
Steelers are brutal in the secondary. Wide receivers torch them. Tight ends torch them.
You need enough time to throw.
You do. But, I mean, did you watch that Ravens game? If anything, the Ravens should be embarrassed to lose after how open Zay Flowers just kept getting for touchdowns.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Nico Collins can do that.
Sure.
Jaden Higgins can do that. Xavier Hutchinson can do that.
Hutchinson can. I'm still not sure on Higgins yet. Still not sure.
Jalen Knoll, can he do it?
Sure. I don't know how much offense he's been playing recently, but like he's promising.
If you think that the Texans can win this game and cover this 3-point spread on the road, I would just advise you to go ahead and bet CJ Stroud to throw 3 touchdowns. Because I think that's
true.
The way this game goes. If the Texans do it, it's because they expose the same holes that the Ravens did in the Steelers defense. You beat them in the secondary. I'm telling you, they have given it up to wide receivers, tight ends, you name it, through the air. And keep an eye on Metcalf, obviously. But if you're the Texans, your goal is to make Aaron Rodgers uncomfortable back there. And I don't think Metcalf is going to be able to get involved if Rodgers sticks to a game plan of he's going to have to try to get the ball out quick.
I have no worries about the point total that the Steelers might reach in this game. For facing a quarterback like Rodgers that is slow as molasses now against Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter. They will get to him. He's
going to know, though, that he's got to throw it quick.
Sure.
And so they won't put him on his butt too many times, I don't think, because it's just not something that Aaron Rodgers can take at his age. I just think they have to game plan around that.
Yeah.
But what that means is you're going to see receptions probably to the running backs again. It's Gainwell. It's Warren. It's Freiermuth over the middle on a quick one. As long as they don't give him time, which I don't think they will, I just think, like you said, Texans will keep it in front of them. They'll tell who's their kicker, Boswell. They'll tell Boswell to get out there and they'll score some field goals. But I agree. I think I'm fairly confident that they can get over the Monday night voodoo. That'd be the only reason, is like a historical trend that tells me that it's going to be tough. I think the Texans are just so far superior that the more I talk about this game, the more I like them. So I don't think you have that much to worry about. And that would mean another home underdog doesn't win.
If I have like 2 more days to think about it, 3 more days to think about it.
Watch the
tears me up. Why can't we go back to Saturday at 3:30?
We're going to get to talk about this game on
I'm going to miss that so much.
That's crazy. We'll get to talk about this game again after a whole weekend of you having your stomach in knots.
Yeah.
At least the family gets to root for the Texans too.
That's true. Yeah, everyone can buy in, kind of.
No issues on the buy-in from the Humphrey household here.
Oh man, 875-KTGR. Call or text us with which home underdogs you think will win this weekend. Picks of the week coming your way next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good evening, I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou men's hoops plays tomorrow night in Oxford as the Tigers look for their 3rd win in a row in conference play, taking on the Ole Miss Rebels. Tigers with wins over Florida and Kentucky so far after finishing non-con play at 10-3. So the Tigers looking for their first 3-0 start ever to SEC play. Tip-off is at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Pregame at 4:30 right here on KTGR. Mizzou women's basketball hung into the second quarter against undefeated Vanderbilt last night, but the Commodores pulled away in huge fashion, 99-68, the final score to remain unbeaten. Mizzou drops to 0-3 in SEC play as the Tigers will return home to take on Alabama on Monday night with a 6 p.m. tip-off. And Mizzou football reportedly is bringing on former Clemson offensive coordinator Garrett Riley as an offensive assistant as the Tigers are revamping the offensive staff after the departure of Kirby Moore's offensive coordinator, Chip Lindsey, coming over to take that spot from Michigan. Now your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast.
We're tracking cool temperatures tonight in the 40s above freezing, as we'll see a round of showers from about midnight to sunrise. Not expecting any accumulations with a few flurries mixing in. And we'll be dry by sunrise tomorrow. Temperatures a little cooler to start the weekend in the 40s. Maybe seeing some clouds in the afternoon, but we're sunnier and colder on Sunday as we're stuck in the 30s to end the weekend. I'm meteorologist Nate Splater, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
High school hoops
Switches on the crossover, Euro step inside, high off the glass and in.
at its best.
Catch it on the left wing, turns around and knocks down the three.
KTGR is your home for the best high school basketball matchups in Columbia. Follow the Cupies, Bruins, Spartans, and Trailblazers all season long on KTGR's High School Hoops Game of the Week. See the full list of game broadcasts on KTGR.com and listen on the go with a free KTGR app. High school basketball lives here on your total sports station, KTGR.
It's hard to believe basketball season is already here. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill reminds you that whether you need a place to grab a bite after a local high school or college game, or you just want to plop down with some friends and watch some hoops on TV, they've got a spot for you. 1851 Underground has drink specials and discount happytizers for happy hour. Check them out on Facebook or at 1851underground.com. It's not a secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton.
Hi, we're Midway Electric. When winter hits, electrical issues can turn serious fast, at home or at your business. That's why you need a trusted local team that shows up, solves the problem, and stands behind the work. From whole home generators and security systems to everyday service and repairs, Midway Electric has you covered. And now through January, get $500 off a whole home generator installation to keep you powered up no matter the weather. Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
Lose weight or stop smoking with Hypnosis Guaranteed or your money back. No matter how many times you failed in the past, this hypnosis is guaranteed to work.
After this hypnosis, I want to eat good food.
Since August, I can honestly say I have not had one potato chip.
It was life-changing for me.
And I don't think about desserts like I used to.
Bridget, how much have you lost now?
I lost a total of 83 pounds.
Holy cow.
It's easy, it's fun, very relaxing, and very successful.
And I would just say go for it.
Oh my, what are you waiting for? Lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed, only $59.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Hypnosis, Tuesday, February 3rd at the Capitol Plaza Hotel and Convention Center in Jefferson City, or Wednesday, February 4th at the Holiday Inn, Columbia East in Columbia. Weight loss hypnosis 5:30 p.m., stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m. Registration 30 minutes before. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Have you heard? There's a new biscuit on the block. In this month's issue of Inside Columbia magazine, hear why people are raving about the hot new brunch spot in town. Hit your fitness goals with our local gym feature. And if Google can't answer your question, turn to our Ask the Expert section for straight advice from area pros. It's all Inside Columbia magazine. Get your copy today at break time convenience stores or have it delivered at InsideColumbia.net.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code radio250BM and get your first bet matched as a bonus bet up to $250, whether you win or lose. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Missouri. Open to new users only. Minimum odds minus 500. Awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 14 days after receipt. Bonus bet amount not returned for winning bets. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
From the trainers to the coaches, the equipment managers to the players and fans, it takes a whole team to be truly successful. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you're looking for the best team of jewelers in Columbia, it's Betts. Their staff has years of experience handcrafting jewelry, and when you combine that with the newest technology, it gives Betts Jewelers the ability to truly wow their customers. So talk to the team at your hometown jeweler today. Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
All right, gotta go here. Picks of the week time here on The Big Show with Andy Brendan. We also have on the KTGR hotline producer Billy joining us. Billy, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you all hear me?
We can. Thank you so much for coming on for Picks of the Week. Brendan and I tied last week at the top. Brendan's in the lead season-wide. Producers and I are not. The games we're picking from, SEC basketball, tonight's CFP game, playoff games for the NFL. Brendan, pick the order.
Andy first, producers second. I'll go third.
Okay, give me Texans -3. Why not? Just,
Thanks.
Go ahead.
I would have taken that.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Who did you say goes next? The producers or you?
Let Billy take it.
All right, Billy, you're next.
I got my lighter, light my Signetti tonight. He and the boys are going to roll.
Okay, there we go. Indiana -3 for Billy and the
I
producers.
will be rooting for that outcome. I will be picking Oregon +3.
So you're taking Oregon +3 here.
Yeah, I'm rooting for an Indiana win by 1 or 2. That's my middle. That's what I need.
Okay. I will say that Auburn does not win at home against Arkansas. I think Arkansas is a pretty darn good team this year. It's going to be tough to handle them. -1.5 for Arkansas at Auburn tomorrow in hoops. Billy.
Texas, not very good. They're going to have all kinds of trouble. Alabama fired up after that loss this weekend. I think they win by more than 2 touchdowns at home.
That's a very good pick. Did not see that one.
And that Vanderbilt-Alabama game was something. I prefer to stick to football when I can, if at all possible. And I will go Packers -1.5. It gives me no pleasure, but I think that's the outcome.
Okay. There are picks of the week here on the Big Show KTGR and the KTGR app. I think the Eagles make no mistake on this game. -5.5. I know it's the biggest home favorite of the week, but I think they absolutely roll the 49ers. So give me Eagles -5.5. Producers.
Good pick.
No actual football logic, but teams have done really well in this spot. Give me the Panthers to cover that spread.
Hey, that's it. Rob Veno said that was the pick.
I think I was about to do the same thing as I was kind of scanning. I'm not rooting for that outcome either, but might be a good pick. All right, the football picks are dwindling here, but you can't make me go to basketball just yet. How about Justin Herbert shows up and surprises people? I love the spread.
Okay.
Getting the hook.
Right.
+3.5 at the Patriots. I'm comfortable taking Justin Herbert in that spot. Give me a close loss by the Chargers if they don't pull it out outright.
All right, I'm going to take the fun factor. Give me the Bears +1.5. Please.
It's a fade of me, but I'm rooting for you.
Please. Yeah, it's a hope pick.
Luther Burden, come on.
Yeah, exactly. All right, producers.
I'm going to go Florida at home against Tennessee. I think they roll.
Ooh, interesting. All right.
What's the spread there?
-4.5. Florida laying 4.5 at home.
I don't want to trust that Florida team right now, but maybe they're bouncing back. They did beat Georgia pretty handily earlier this week. I'll be rooting for the Bills. I think Trevor Lawrence is about to do something. I think Trevor Lawrence is about to take matters into his own hands. We've got it on the sheet as a pick'em. Could be the game of the week in the NFL. I will take the Jaguars outright. For picks of the week purposes, I will still be celebrating if Josh Allen wins. That 2 I'll be rooting for.
Well, I do not feel good taking any of the football teams left on the board. So I'm going to find my favorite basketball one. I picked South Carolina last week. It was a big spread against Vanderbilt, and they stayed within it. But this is a much smaller one. They're only 3.5-point underdogs at home against Georgia, and I think Georgia will cover that with free throws in the end. So give me Georgia -3.5 on the road against South Carolina. Billy.
Dennis Gates can stick this one on the board. Hope I'm wrong, but this feels like a game Ole Miss needs a lot more. Missouri, I don't know if they're going to bring the same edge in Oxford on Saturday. I think Ole Miss wins.
Oh, man.
He gets the 1.5, too.
Yeah,
I'm wrong.
I wasn't touching Mizzou. I
Why? I thought you were expecting to win.
They should expect to win, but that is not the same.
Emotional hedge. Emotional hedge, Brendan.
Exactly. Actually, my board is filled with emotional hedges so far today. Packers, Jaguars. I'll finish it up by just saying Vanderbilt at home, win and out.
Okay, yeah.
I don't even care what the number is against LSU, but
13.5. It's a big one, but
yeah, 13.5. That's just fine.
Probably right. get back home and still take care of that LSU team. I think that is the right pick. We did it. Got it all in.
Knocked it out.
In record time. Love that. Producer Billy, thank you for joining us on the show for the picks, and hope all is well, my friend.
Yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Can't wait.
There you go. Producer Billy joining us here on the Big Show KTGR. So we'll see who comes out on top this weekend. And, of course, all of the football that will be happening. We'll talk about it all on Monday at 4 o'clock. Later on this evening, late tonight, you can hear the continuation of our coverage of the Sophie Cunningham Classic. We had one game for you earlier today, Battle in Blue Valley North. Later tonight, Rockbridge and Olathe South. Going to be the final game of the evening on the first day of the Sophie Cunningham Classic. Once again, they've done an excellent job putting that event together. 9:15 p.m. is when we plan to start our coverage for that one. Oh, yeah. Get some coffee ready for some late night hoops. Ready for it. So come join us for that. And be sure to, all weekend long, follow the Mizzou hoops coverage, of course. And we'll be back on Monday at 4 o'clock. He's Brendan. He's producer Billy. I'm Andy. We're done for now.